The power of presence. Why younger women notice older men. Have you ever noticed a younger woman smiling at an older man and wondered why? Is it just politeness? Respect? Or is there something deeper at play? Many men assume it's nothing, a meaningless social nicety. But what if that smile carries more meaning than most older men realize? In today's world, men often feel uncertain about their value as they age. Society pushes a youth-centered culture, making many believe that once they hit a certain age, they become irrelevant. But this is far from the truth. Despite the ever-changing world, there is something timeless about how people, especially women, respond to strength, wisdom, and presence. The instinctive response to stability. When a younger woman smiles at an older man, it's often not about romantic attraction, wealth, or status. It's about something deeper, a recognition of stability, experience, and self-assurance. Women, consciously or unconsciously, are drawn to qualities that represent security and direction. An older man who has weathered life's storms, developed emotional control, and built resilience stands out. He does not need to prove himself with bravado or external validation. His very presence exudes certainty and competence. In a world where many younger men struggle with identity and purpose, a man who has found his footing becomes a rare and valuable presence. Strength that stands the test of time. True masculinity is not about physical dominance, but about inner strength, mental, emotional, and psychological. A man who carries himself with quiet confidence, who remains steady in the face of uncertainty, naturally commands respect. Unfortunately, many older men fail to see this in themselves. They have been conditioned to believe that aging makes them invisible. They assume that because society no longer celebrates their presence, their value has diminished. But the reality is different. The world still respects strength, wisdom, and resilience, whether it openly acknowledges it or not. The biggest mistake older men make. One of the biggest mistakes an older man can make is allowing himself to become bitter or defeated. Life brings hardships, failures, and disappointments, but how a man responds to these challenges defines him. Some men use adversity as a tool for growth, becoming wiser and stronger over time. Others let it break them, turning inward, growing resentful, and believing that their best years are behind them. This distinction is crucial because women, especially younger women, can sense it immediately. A man who carries himself with defeat, who sees himself as a relic of the past, does not inspire respect or admiration. He may have once been ambitious and confident, but if he now moves through life with the weight of his regrets, he fades into the background. And it's not because of his age, it's because of his energy, his outlook on life. The difference between being noticed and being overlooked. On the other hand, a man who refuses to be crushed by life's difficulties commands attention. He may have scars, both literal and metaphorical, but they are proof that he has endured. He has faced failure but still moves forward. He does not let bitterness dictate his actions. Instead, he remains engaged with life, learning, improving, and contributing. This kind of man carries an aura of quiet confidence that is impossible to ignore. Younger women recognize this energy instinctively. They may not fully understand why they respect one older man while disregarding another, but the difference is clear. A man who retains his vitality, his curiosity, and his sense of purpose will always be seen as someone of value. Age does not diminish value, mindset does. The real tragedy is that many older men surrender too soon. They buy into the cultural lie that they have nothing left to offer. But the truth is, the most powerful thing a man can do as he ages is to remain engaged, to continue building himself, and to refuse to be defined by his past. Strength, resilience, and wisdom do not fade with age. They grow, and the world, whether it acknowledges it or not, still respects that. When a younger woman smiles at an older man, it is not a random or meaningless gesture. It is an unconscious acknowledgement of the qualities he carries, his presence, his confidence, his stability. Yet many older men fail to recognize this for what it truly is. They dismiss it as politeness or assume it is insignificant, missing an important truth about human nature. The final truth. The reason some older men feel invisible is not because they have aged, but because they have stopped carrying themselves with purpose. Age itself is not what makes a man lose his influence. It is his response to aging. A man who remains engaged in life, who continues to grow, lead, and contribute will always command attention. The respect he receives may not always be loudly acknowledged, but it is there. When a younger woman smiles at an older man, it is often because she senses something enduring, something strong and stable in a world that often lacks both. The crucial question is, do older men recognize this in themselves? Because society does not decide when a man becomes irrelevant. He does.